Hey there, welcome to Strategic Pathways. I'm your host, Anthony Botello. This is my co-host, Maurice Johnson. And today, what we're doing is we're going to try to help students find their path to a better career and know what to do after school. Like, what are we doing after this? So we've got a couple different views and a lot of different people that we've talked to see what they did. Maurice, can you tell us about who we've talked to?
That's right. So for college students that are also thinking about joining the military, I traveled out to UTSA and visited their R.O.T.C program. And out there I talked to a Sergeant First Class Gordon and a couple of his cadets about the program and what they go through.
Cool. I always like to see different views. Let's watch a clip of that. Sounds interesting.
So the R.O.T.C program stands for Reserve Officer Training Corps, and our main goal is to take college-educated young men and women and turn them into the leaders of tomorrow's military, like leaders of the future. So we want to ensure that we train them correctly, because at the end of the day, myself and all the other senior leaders in the military, we're not going to be here anymore. So we want to make sure that these kids are trained to standards, so that way we know that the military is in good hands. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be commissioned officers, and they're going to be taking our sons and daughters and leading them into battle. My goal is to hopefully one day know that, possibly the next chief of staff, comes from my program. So to enroll in the R.O.T.C program, it's just like signing up for a math class or a science class. It's just military science. You just have to sign up. It's offered in the fall semester and spring semester. Now, just because you sign up and do R.O.T.C doesn't mean you're obligated to be in the military. We have a lot of cadets that come in just to get a feel to see what the Army life's all about. Their freshman and sophomore years, and if they don't like it, they don't have to come back. But as a contracted cadet, we offer PT 5 days a week. Now, you don't have to come to PT 5 days a week. The guys and girls that are new to the program, freshmen are only obligated to come to PT once a week, but we emphasize they come more just so that way their bodies can get used to, working out. Once you become contracted, you have to come to PT 3 days a week. To get to be contracted, get a scholarship where the Army pays for your stuff, you have to get at least a 2.5 GPA, all right? And that's pretty much a C average. We do labs every Tuesdays, so the guys and girls get a feel of what it is to be in the military. Our labs consist of learning doing tactical stuff one day, or DNC another day. So like I said, it's nothing too crazy, because we understand at the end of the day they're college students. So UTSA is the main hub, meaning we provide all the instructors and we plan all the training. We have a bunch of schools that fall under us: Northwest Vista, University of Texas San Antonio, Wayland Baptist, Palo Alto, Greystone Academy, Northwest Vista. These are all schools that fall under our program. We try to give them a strong base. All right, so think of R.O.T.C like the base of the pyramid. When they leave the R.O.T.C program, granted, they're not going to be subject matter experts, but they're going to be confident in their ability to lead soldiers and confident in what they learn here, so that they can get put in a platoon leader position wherever it is in the Army, and then take charge and do well. A cadet could attend the program for all 4 years if they want to in college, or they can come to the program a little bit later. As long as they go to what's called advanced camp, which is at Fort Knox, Kentucky, which we do every single summer, which they get evaluated with all of the cadets nationwide from all the colleges and universities across America. You have to complete that, because we assess you, and then that plays into what your branch is going to be, whether it be, for instance, infantry, armor, cyber, whatever the case may be. Now, after you've completed advanced camp and you've been contracted, and then you get commissioned, then you have to go out, where the Army says, you're needed. A cadet does not have to join the military after graduation. Like I said, if you want to join R.O.T.C, you can join R.O.T.C just to see exactly what it's like. And after your sophomore, your junior year, you realize, hey, the military is not for me. again, you're not obligated to us, all right? And it's a class.
So for me, it was actually a pretty easy decision. I'd already been in the Army for 12 years. I was a Sergeant First Class radiology tech. And in that field, specifically in the medical field, it's really hard to actually move up past that. It was gonna take me a good 7, 8, maybe 9 years to promote to the next level. So the question that I asked myself was like, how am I gonna promote? How am I gonna stay, I guess, on that success route, right? Stay competitive against my peers. And the one thing that always popped out, the one thing I've always wanted to do is become an officer. So this was the perfect opportunity. So I started looking into the programs. I have some family that lives here in San Antonio and decided, hey, I'm gonna join the R.O.T.C program right there at UTSA. Joined the program, and it's actually one of the best decisions I've made because I'm learning so much here in the R.O.T.C program itself that I didn't get in the background of those 12 years that I had already been in the Army.
Some of my favorite activities that I've participated in within the R.O.T.C program have been just being put in leadership positions. We're being able to mentor others, sometimes even the underclassmen, and I've really been able to grow and learn myself as I'm mentoring others. We do a lot of participation with the community, so a lot of fundraising, fun runs, things like that, Veterans Day, parades and things like that. So I think that's what keeps the program fun, because you get to do all these little things other than just academics all the time or physical training all the time. So it's more than just a learning environment. You're actually contributing to the community as well. In the Army, you have to be physically fit. So yes, you're gonna do PT. Coming into the program, if that's the actual question you're asking, do you have to be fit coming into the program? No, absolutely not. But you're gonna be required to do PT on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So you will get physically fit. And it's great because it's not like you start off running 10 miles. You start off maybe running a half a mile, and then you ease up. And they make things fun. Little push-ups here, little sit-ups there, battalion runs, things like that. They keep it fun. So you naturally get fit throughout the program. And I'm gonna have to just on what he said, it's absolutely true that we build each other up as a team. Also, once we commission as officers, then we go into our units, and if we're not physically fit at that time, we're actually role models for them to look up to us. One of the most memorable and the most heartfelt would probably be the last year we did it this year as well, but last year we did the Veterans Day football game for Veterans Day over at the Alamo Dome for UTSA, and I'd never gotten to actually see this in person, but they spread that huge flag across the football field. It was amazing. So I was like, hey, I'm part of this. I've seen this on TV, and now I'm doing it. So that was probably pretty memorable for me. And then one of my most memorable experiences was when we went as MS4 year, which is our senior year in this program. We actually went on a staff ride to Vicksburg, Mississippi. The staff ride is just basically where we were able to get hands-on experience of a battle, of a campaign, and this one was actually of the Confederate and Union Army. For the staff ride, we were able we carpooled down there in vans, and we were able to bond with each other as a class and get to know, a major campaign. So it was actually really fun. So once you graduate from the program, you commission as a second lieutenant in the Army. And then what they also provide is, upon commissioning as a second lieutenant, they can go into the active Army, National Guard, or Army Reserves. So actually, we just received them yesterday. The branch reveal was yesterday, and I too got Medical Service Corps. It's what I wanted. I have a medical background in radiology, so being able to follow through with that and fulfill my dreams of being a hospital administrator, I think it's all coming together. For me, I'm actually a master's student, so I'm working my master's degree in public administration, and I'm minoring in Homeland Security emergency management. So I'm hoping after the R.O.T.C program that I'd be able to use my master's working for a state agency or FEMA
and then also being a National Guard's member. So I was able to do both at the same time.
Hey, that was pretty interesting. I like to see different views of what people are planning to do after school and how they got there. As you can tell, we're not professionals at this. We're just interns, and we're kind of learning as we go, and I bet you probably wonder how you could do something like this. Well, we've actually made a little clip telling you a little information about that, so let's take a break. Hey there, you're a film and TV student.
Why, yes, I am.
inTV, the educational access channel of San Antonio, is looking for students like you to create and produce original educational programming. You'll get hands-on experience in the studio with camera operation, producing, video editing, and you'll get a chance to make your own show.
Really?
Strategic Pathways is the internship opportunity available at San Antonio College at the Moody Learning Center, room 632. Check us out at intv.alamo.edu.
Because they kind of have a lot of benefits, I guess, towards being like once you get into your civilian life, so they could help with like your children and stuff. Like they can help your kids go to school. I kind of thought about it because of that for like my future children.
Hey, welcome back. That was some good stuff. So, Maurice, I think you got some more stuff for us. What do you got today?
Yeah, so my next interview, I talked to a Captain Michael Hawkins, and he talked about how he was able to maintain and get 2 college degrees also while being in the military and serving in the reserves. Let's take a look at that.
I'm your host, Maurice Johnson, and today we have a special guest, Captain Michael Hawkins, and we're going to talk about how he was able to obtain 2 college degrees while being in the military. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thanks for coming on my show today.
Not a problem, not a problem.
What even made you join the military, and how long have you been in?
Well, first, I have to give credit to my mother. She has always been an advocate of the military as well as college. So her thing was go to college, go in the military, or get a job. My being from a small town, she knew the opportunities were small. So my success was predicated upon me going to college and going into the military. So I went to college first, obtained a degree in mathematics, and then I went into the military, mainly because I wanted to fulfill that childhood dream of being that commando running through the woods, shooting up things and blowing up stuff. So I was able to do that in a roundabout way.
Okay, that sounds fun. That's when I did the military, that's kind of what got me too, and the commercials.
Yes.
But then when I got there, it was nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Okay, and when you joined, what was the first job that you got when you was in the military?
So I initially enlisted to be an infantryman. And then that's the running through the woods and shooting up things and blowing up stuff. But because I wear contact lenses, I was unable to fulfill that dream. So because I had a degree in mathematics, I was able to transfer to the finance department, and did finance for 14 years on both active duty and in the National Guard.
Was there any other special skills that you had that helped you when you had gotten into the military?
Yes. So while I was in the military, I was able to obtain more certifications, more opportunities to study abroad and things like that. Also, while I was in the military, I was able to obtain my electrical engineering degree, and through tuition assistance and just opportunities to study particular computer-based technology training, I was able to get more opportunities to just advance my career.
Okay. So what would you recommend to somebody who wanted to get their education and also join the military, and if they was iffy about it, like they don't think that they would be able to do both?
I would tell them you can do anything that you want to do. The question is, how bad do you want to fulfill a particular goal? If you want to go into the military and go to college, the military has National Guard and they have reserve opportunities. So that way you can still go into the military and you can go to college and run those careers in parallel. And that's pretty much what I did. I ran my careers in parallel, where I was able to be a guardsman, now I'm a reservist, and still able to go to college.
Okay. So what is your job that you do now that's in the military?
Right now I'm a communication officer for an intelligence unit. So my job is to ensure that the network or the communication devices are always operational, to allow the troops on the ground the opportunity to communicate back and forth. Communication is real big with the military, because that's how we are able to make sure that information is conveyed to the right person so they can get the right resources to perform their mission.
Okay. And what special skills do you have to have for that? Is there any like secret stuff that you have to have, or can anybody just try to get that job in the military? Or
initially, I would say anybody can do this job, but you must have a love of computers. You must have a love for attention to detail, and you must have a love for resiliency and sometimes being able to work alone. In many cases, you think of the military, you think of a team. With this particular job, you may have to work alone, or you may work in a quote-unquote small team with 1 or 2 persons. So you must be able to do that. You must be able to have the zeal and the will to continuously learning. Because this is a technology-based field, you are always learning. You're always learning something new. You're always experiencing different things. So you must be willing to change as change come along.
okay. And what is your current outside job now, and does that tie into your military job?
As I mentioned earlier, I try to keep everything in parallel. So with that in mind, I'm what's called a cyber engineer for the Air Force. So cyber being computers, communication officers being computers and technology. So both those careers run parallel. Even though they're doing different things, a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of similarity and there's a lot of overlap.
Okay. Well, that's our time. I'd like to thank my guest, Captain Michael Hawkins. Thank you, sir, for coming by.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching inTV. See you next time.
Go Army.
Wow, Michael Hawkins was pretty interesting. So as we continue on our strategic pathway, Maurice has some more really cool stuff for us today. Stay tuned for, what's our next guy, Maurice?
Our next interview will be the VA, which is Veteran Affairs, and we'll be talking to a VA rep down there.
Hello, I'm Maurice Johnson.
Hi, my name's Adele Gutierrez, and I work at the VA, San Antonio College VA office.
Okay, so today we're talking about VA benefits and if veterans want to go back to school. So if a veteran wants to attend school or get back into it, what should they do before they come to see you?
Well, typically we try to tell veterans that before they come and see us, for them to know what benefit they're going to use. There's so many benefits out there, and then here in San Antonio, well, we also have the state benefit. But of course, we'll still help them even if they don't know what benefit. We have a VA counselor that's housed at San Antonio College, so we can always have them see her, and she'll determine what benefit they'll be using. But typically, we'd like for them to know what they're going to be using by the time they come see us.
Okay. And is any veteran eligible for benefits, or is it just certain ones?
Well, it depends. Not everyone is eligible for benefits. Depends on how many years they've served, and also what discharge they got when they left the Army. So there's a lot of determinations in that.
Okay. And how far out should a veteran come into the VA office before starting school?
We typically like to say for them to come like 6 months before the semester begins. So like, for example, say fall semester begins like, I'm just giving a date, like August 28th. So hopefully they come to see us maybe like in March or April. This way we can find out what benefits they're going to use, have them apply for the benefit, and at the same time see if they qualify for any other financial assistance that we have. But because it takes so long to apply for the benefits, sometimes about 30 days for them to even know if they qualified, we want them to come to us earlier before the semester begins.
Okay. And what different kind of benefits are offered to a veteran? Like, I know there's a whole bunch, but what are like the main ones, like the couple main ones?
Yeah, the main big one right now is the Chapter 33, post 9/11. Those are a big chunk of our students. Then we have the 31, that's vocational rehab. So we have that one. And then we also have the Hazelwood, which is also one of our big ones that students are using.
Okay. And how long are the benefits good for? Like, is there a certain time that they have to use them by, or is it just forever?
Well, now with the new changes that have occurred, I believe that there's not a time limit for the benefits now. It used to be 15 years. Now there's not a time for the benefits being used. However, for Hazelwood, that's different because that's the state benefit. And there's no time limit, but there is only 150 hours that's given to that veteran, or if they transfer to that student. So there's a lot of things that come into play. That's why we tell students, come and see us early so that we can explain each benefit, because each benefit has its different restrictions.
Okay. And also, are veterans limited to certain majors, or can they major to anything?
Well, it's when the student uses the benefit, they have to use the major for that institution. So if they were going to Texas A&M San Antonio, they couldn't use a San Antonio College major. They had to use that major. Same thing when they come to San Antonio College, they have to use the institution, the primary institution major. So say they want to go into occupational therapy, they wouldn't be at San Antonio College, they would be at St. Philip's, because that's where they have that major. So they are limited to only the majors that are for that institution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all the time we have for you. I would like to thank you for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you again some other time.
Have I ever thought about joining the police force or the military? I've thought about it. I've thought about each of those plenty of times. Police force, my dad was a cop in the NYPD during the 80s in the South Bronx, which is where I'm from. And so, granted, I've thought about it, but he doesn't want me to do it because he doesn't want me to see what he's seen. And with the military, I've thought about it, but I'm just like a marshmallow. So I don't think I could ever do that.
Wow. I want to thank you guys for joining us today on Strategic Pathways. We've shown you guys a whole bunch of different stuff of what students have done to take different paths to different careers. Maurice, thank you for all the different interviews and different looks at what people are doing. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today on Strategic Pathways. I'll see you guys next time.